You are being robbed and you do not even know it. Every single day something is stealing from you. It is stealing your time. It is stealing your focus. It is stealing your peace. It is stealing your purpose. And the thief is not wearing a mask. It is not hiding in the shadows. It is sitting right in your hand. It is glowing on your screen. It is filling your schedule. It is consuming your attention. And while you think you are in control, the truth is you have already lost more than you realize. This is not an accident. You did not stumble onto this message by chance. The God of heaven saw you scrolling tonight and He interrupted your routine because He loves you too much to watch you waste another year in the fog of distraction. He sees what you could be. He sees the calling on your life. He sees the purpose He placed inside of you before you were born. And He also sees how far you have drifted from it, not because of some dramatic rebellion, but because of 1,000 small distractions that added up to a detour you never intended to take. Distraction is the silent assassin of destiny. It does not announce itself. It does not feel dangerous. It feels normal. It feels harmless. It feels like a break, a reward, a moment of rest. But what starts as a moment becomes an hour. What starts as an hour becomes a habit. What starts as a habit becomes a lifestyle. And before you know it, days have turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, and you wake up one morning wondering where the time went, where the fire went, where the vision went. I am not here to shame you, I am here to shake you. There is a difference. Shame pushes you down, shaking wakes you up. And you need to wake up because you have been sleepwalking through a season that was supposed to be marked by advancement, breakthrough, and purpose. But distraction has kept you sedated. Distraction has kept you numb. Distraction has kept you so busy with things that do not matter that you have no energy left for the things that do. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. Where does your time actually go? Not where you think it goes, not where you wish it went, but where does it actually go? If you tracked every hour of every day for a week, what would the data reveal? Would it reveal a life aligned with purpose? Would it reveal a heart devoted to the things of God? Would it reveal intentional progress toward the destiny He has spoken over you? Or would it reveal something else? Would it reveal hours lost to scrolling? Would it reveal evenings consumed by entertainment? Would it reveal mornings stolen by the urgent rather than the important? Would it reveal a life that is busy but not fruitful, active but not advancing, moving but not going anywhere? The average person spends more time on their phone each day than they spend in prayer, in the Word, in meaningful conversation, and in pursuing their purpose combined. That is not an exaggeration. That is a documented reality. And many of those people would call themselves believers. Many of those people would say they love God. Many of those people would claim they want to fulfill their calling. But their time tells a different story. Their attention tells a different story. Their habits tell a different story. You cannot scroll your way into destiny. You cannot binge watch your way into purpose. You cannot mindlessly consume your way into the life God has prepared for you. That life requires focus. It requires intentionality. It requires the discipline to say no to 1,000 good distractions so you can say yes to the one great calling. And that discipline has been absent, not because you are weak, but because you have been deceived. The enemy has convinced you that these distractions are harmless, that they are not really costing you anything, that you can pursue purpose later once things calm down. But things never calm down, and later never comes. The strategy of the enemy in this generation is not primarily persecution. It is not primarily deception about doctrine. It is distraction. He knows that he does not have to get you to deny God to neutralize you. He just has to get you to be too busy, too distracted, too unfocused to actually do anything with your faith. He knows that a believer who is constantly entertained is a believer who is spiritually ineffective. He knows that a Christian who is always consuming is a Christian who is never creating, never building, never advancing the kingdom. And so he floods your environment with options. He fills your feed with content. He makes sure there is always something new to watch, something new to scroll, something new to click on, something new to occupy the attention that was supposed to be devoted to God. There are more resources available to believers today than at any point in human history. More teaching, more worship, more books, more conferences, more tools for growth. And yet spiritual maturity is declining. Biblical literacy is at an all-time low. Prayer lives are anemic. And the average Christian cannot articulate what they believe or why they believe it. Why? Because even though the resources are available, the attention is not. The focus is not. The capacity has been consumed by other things. We have information overload but wisdom deficiency. We have access to everything but mastery of nothing. Let me tell you what distraction has cost you specifically. I am not speaking in generalities anymore. I am speaking to your life. I am speaking to your situation. I am speaking to the unique calling that God placed on you before you took your first breath. Distraction has cost you intimacy with God. There was a time when you craved His presence. There was a time when you would wake up early just to sit with Him. There was a time when prayer was not a chore but a privilege. There was a time when His word came alive, when verses jumped off the page, when you could hear His voice with clarity. But somewhere along the way that intimacy faded, not because He moved, but because your attention shifted. The things that used to fill you began to be crowded out by the things that merely entertain you. And now you find yourself going days, maybe weeks, without any real connection to the one who made you. You still call yourself a believer. You still show up at church occasionally. You still say the right words when asked. But you and God both know that the relationship has become hollow. It has become routine. It has become a shell of what it once was. And the cause is not some great sin. The cause is 1,000 small distractions that accumulated over time until they formed a wall between you and His presence. Distraction has cost you clarity. You have been confused about decisions that should have been clear. You have been uncertain about direction when God has already spoken. You have been asking Him for guidance while simultaneously drowning out His voice with noise. The reason you cannot hear Him is not that He has stopped speaking, it is that your ears are full, your mind is cluttered, your attention is fragmented into 100 pieces, and none of those pieces are large enough to receive what He is trying to say. God speaks in the stillness. God reveals in the quiet. And you have eliminated stillness from your life. You have filled every quiet moment with distraction. And then you wonder why you feel so lost. Distraction has cost you relationships. The people who matter most have received the least of you. Your spouse has gotten the leftovers after work, and entertainment have taken the best. Your children have competed with screens for your attention and often lost. Your friends have felt the distance that comes when someone is physically present but mentally elsewhere. You have been in the room but not in the moment. You have been there but not really there. And the relational damage has been accumulating, resentment has been building. Disconnection has been growing. Not because you do not love these people, but because distraction has convinced you that you can give your attention to endless content and still have enough left over for the humans in front of you. But attention is a finite resource, and you have been spending it in the wrong places. Distraction has cost you your health. The late nights staring at a screen have stolen your sleep. The mindless eating while consuming content has added weight. The sedentary hours have weakened your body. The stress of constant stimulation has frayed your nerves. You are more exhausted than you should be. You are more anxious than you used to be. You are more depleted than you realize. And the distraction that promised to help you relax has actually been the primary source of your depletion. What you have been doing to rest has actually been preventing true rest. Distraction has cost you your purpose. This is the most serious cost of all. God put something inside of you, a calling, a vision, a mandate, something that only you can fulfill, something the world needs, something the kingdom requires. And that calling has been sitting dormant. That vision has been gathering dust. That mandate has been ignored, not because you rejected it, but because you got distracted. The enemy could not get you to say no to your purpose, so he got you to say not yet. He could not get you to deny your calling, so he got you to delay it. And delay after delay after delay has turned into years of unfulfilled potential. Think about where you could be right now if you had been focused for the last year. Think about the progress you could have made. Think about the growth you could have experienced. Think about the impact you could have had. Think about the relationships you could have built. Think about the skills you could have developed. Think about the dreams you could have pursued. Now compare that to where you actually are. Feel the gap. Feel the weight of it. That gap is the cost of distraction. That gap is what has been stolen from you, and it should make you angry. not at yourself, but at the enemy who has been orchestrating the theft. But here is the good news. Here is where the mercy comes in. Here is where hope breaks through the conviction. It is not too late. The years that have been lost can be redeemed. The time that has been wasted can be recovered. The purpose that has been delayed can still be fulfilled. God is a God of restoration. He specializes in taking broken things and making them whole. He delights in taking wasted years and redeeming them for His glory. And if you will respond to this message, if you will let this be the turning point, He will accelerate your progress in ways that defy natural logic. The prophet Joel spoke of years that the locusts had eaten, being restored. That promise is for you. The years that distraction has consumed do not have to be the end of the story. They can be the setup for a comeback that brings God glory. But the restoration requires a response. It requires you to wake up. It requires you to change. It requires you to do something different than you have been doing. Let me talk about what distraction actually is at its root, because understanding the root helps you address the problem. Distraction is not just about wasting time. Distraction is about misdirected attention. And attention is spiritual. Where your attention goes, your life follows. What you focus on, you become. What you give your mind to, you give your life to. The enemy understands this even if we do not. He knows that if he can capture your attention, he can control your trajectory. He knows that if he can keep you focused on the trivial, you will never accomplish the significant. That is why distraction feels so innocent. It is designed to feel that way. It is dressed up as entertainment. It is marketed as relaxation. It is positioned as connection, but underneath the surface, it is doing something far more sinister. It is reprogramming your mind. It is reshaping your desires. It is retraining your focus to crave short bursts of dopamine rather than the deep satisfaction that comes from meaningful work, deep relationships, and intimate communion with God. Every time you scroll, your brain receives a small hit of dopamine. Every notification, every like, every new piece of content triggers the reward center of your brain. And over time, your brain becomes addicted to that stimulation. It begins to crave the constant novelty. It becomes restless without it. And the things that used to bring you satisfaction, the slow work of building something meaningful, the quiet presence of God in prayer, the focused attention of a deep conversation, those things begin to feel boring by comparison. Your brain has been rewired to prefer distraction over depth. And that rewiring did not happen by accident. It was engineered. The platforms you use are designed by some of the brightest minds in the world. They have spent billions of dollars figuring out how to capture and keep your attention. They know exactly which buttons to push, which triggers to activate, which patterns to exploit. They have studied human psychology and used that knowledge to build systems that are nearly impossible to resist. You are not fighting against yourself when you struggle to put down your phone. You are fighting against teams of engineers whose entire job is to make sure you cannot put it down. I am not telling you this to give you an excuse. I am telling you this so you understand that this is a battle. This is warfare. The enemy is using technology as a weapon against your focus, your faith, and your future. And you cannot win a battle you do not even realize you are in. You have to wake up to the reality of what is happening. You have to recognize that the distraction is not neutral. It is hostile. It is a strategy designed to neutralize you. But you are not powerless. Greater is He who is in you than he who is in the world. The Spirit of God gives you the power to overcome what you could never overcome in your own strength. He gives you the discipline, the focus, the self-control that you need. But you have to engage. You have to cooperate with grace. You have to make decisions that create space for God to work. Let me give you some practical direction, because I believe God is not just exposing the problem tonight. He is offering a solution. The first thing you need to do is audit your attention. You cannot change what you will not measure. Spend the next week tracking how you actually use your time. Not how you intend to use it, but how you actually use it. There are apps that will show you exactly how many hours you spend on your phone and on which applications. Look at the data. Let it confront you. Let it expose the gap between who you want to be and how you are actually living. The second thing you need to do is create boundaries. Boundaries are not restrictions. They are protections. They are the guardrails that keep you on the path. Identify the primary sources of distraction in your life and put limits on them. Set app timers. Establish phone-free zones and times. Remove notifications that are constantly pulling at your attention. Delete apps that have become addictions rather than tools. You have to be ruthless here. Partial measures will not work. The distraction has to be starved, not just managed. The third thing you need to do is replace the distraction with something of substance. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you simply remove the distraction without replacing it, you will return to it within days. So what are you going to put in its place? What are you going to do with the hours that are freed up? This is where purpose becomes practical. This is where calling becomes concrete. Take the time you reclaim and invest it in prayer. Invest it in the Word. Invest it in pursuing the vision God has given you. Invest it in the relationships that matter. Invest it in your health. Invest it in building something that will outlast you. The fourth thing you need to do is find accountability. Distraction thrives in isolation. It grows in secret. When no one knows how you are spending your time, you will spend it poorly. But when you have someone asking you the hard questions, when you have someone checking in on your habits, when you have someone who knows your goals and holds you to them, distraction loses its power. Find someone you trust and give them permission to ask you about your focus. Give them access to your screen time data if necessary. Let accountability be a weapon against the enemy who has been operating in the dark. The fifth thing you need to do is reconnect with your purpose. One of the reasons distraction has been so effective in your life is that your sense of purpose has become vague. When you do not know what you are supposed to be doing, anything becomes a justifiable use of your time. But when you have a clear vision, when you know what God has called you to, distraction becomes obviously incompatible. It becomes clearly detrimental. Take time to revisit the dreams God has placed in your heart. Write them down. Speak them out loud. Remind yourself daily of why you are here and what you are supposed to be building. Let purpose become the filter through which every use of time is evaluated. Now I want to shift the tone for a moment, because I sense that some of you are feeling overwhelmed. The conviction is heavy. The realization of how much time has been lost is painful. And part of you wants to despair rather than act. Part of you feels like the damage is too great. The habit is too ingrained. The pattern is too established to break. Hear me clearly. You are not beyond rescue. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified from the future because of the past. The very fact that you are still here, still listening, still feeling the conviction is proof that God has not given up on you. He is reaching for you. He is offering you a way out. He is inviting you into a different way of living. And His grace is sufficient for every failure, every waste, every regret. Do not let the enemy use the past to keep you from changing in the present. That is one of his favorite strategies. He will point to all the time you have already wasted and use it to convince you that changing now is pointless. But that is a lie. Every day is a new opportunity. Every moment is a chance to choose differently. The person you were yesterday does not have to be the person you are today. And the person you are today does not have to be the person you are tomorrow. The Apostle Paul talked about forgetting what lies behind and pressing forward toward what lies ahead. That is the posture you need to adopt. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Stop rehearsing the years of distraction. Acknowledge them, repent of them, and then move forward. The race is not over. The finish line has not been crossed. There is still time to run well. There is still time to finish strong. There is still time to fulfill the purpose you were created for. Let me talk about what becomes possible when distraction is broken. I want you to see the vision of what life can look like on the other side of this battle. When distraction is broken, you experience a clarity you have not known in years. The fog lifts, the confusion dissipates. You can think in straight lines again. You can plan and execute without being pulled in 100 different directions. Decisions that seemed impossible become simple because your mind is no longer fragmented. When distraction is broken, your intimacy with God returns. The quiet time that used to feel boring becomes rich again. The word comes alive again. Prayer becomes a conversation again, rather than a monologue into the void. You can sense His presence. You can hear His voice. You can feel His leading. The relationship that had become stale becomes vibrant again. When distraction is broken, your relationships deepen. You become fully present with the people in front of you. Your spouse feels seen. Your children feel valued. Your friends feel connected. The quality of your interactions improves because you are actually there, not physically present while mentally scrolling through something else. When distraction is broken, your productivity explodes. The goals you have been talking about for years actually start getting accomplished. The dreams move from concept to reality. The progress you thought was impossible becomes inevitable because you finally have the focus to see things through. You move from being busy to being fruitful. You move from motion to momentum. You move from activity to accomplishment. When distraction is broken, your health improves. You sleep better because you are not staring at screens until midnight. You have energy because you are not constantly depleted by the overstimulation. You exercise because you have time. You eat better because you are not mindlessly consuming while scrolling. Your body thanks you for the freedom you have given your mind. When distraction is broken, your purpose accelerates. The calling that had been on pause begins to move forward. The ministry that had been delayed begins to launch. The impact that had been theoretical becomes actual. You stop talking about what you are going to do someday and start doing it today, and you realize that you had more capacity than you ever knew. It was just buried under layers of distraction. This is what is waiting for you. This is what God wants to give you. This is the life that becomes possible when you break free from the trap that has held you captive. And it is all within reach. It is all available, but you have to fight for it. You have to choose it. You have to be willing to do what is hard now so you can experience what is good later. Let me address one more thing. Some of you are using distraction as medication. You are not just mindlessly entertaining yourself. You are numbing yourself. You are using the distraction to avoid pain, to escape reality, to drown out thoughts and feelings that you do not want to face. Every time anxiety rises, you reach for the phone. Every time loneliness surfaces, you scroll. Every time the weight of life becomes heavy, you escape into content that takes you out of your own head. I understand that impulse. I do not judge you for it. Life is hard. The pain is real. And distraction offers a temporary relief that feels necessary for survival. But the relief is an illusion. The pain does not go away. It just waits. It sits there, growing, festering, accumulating, while you numb yourself above it. And eventually, it demands to be dealt with. Eventually, the distraction stops working. Eventually, the escape fails to deliver. And you are left with the same pain you started with, plus the additional weight of all the time you wasted running from it. There is a better way. Instead of numbing the pain, bring it to God. Instead of escaping into distraction, run into His presence. He can handle whatever you are carrying. He is not afraid of your anxiety, your loneliness, your grief, your fear. He invites you to cast those burdens on Him because He cares for you. And unlike the distraction, He actually heals. He actually restores. He actually resolves the things that are weighing you down. The distraction can only delay the pain. God can delete it. The distraction can only mask the symptoms. God can address the cause. The distraction is a bandage on a wound that needs surgery. God is the surgeon. Let Him operate. Let Him go deep. Let Him do the work that leads to real and lasting freedom. I want to pray for you now, and this prayer is going to be a declaration of war against the spirit of distraction that has been operating in your life. I want you to engage with this prayer, not as a passive listener, but as an active participant. This is your moment to take authority. This is your moment to reclaim what has been stolen. This is your moment to draw a line in the sand and declare that the distraction ends here. Father, I come before you on behalf of this one who is ready to be free. You have seen the years that distraction has consumed. You have watched the purpose being delayed. You have witnessed the intimacy fading, the relationship suffering, the potential going unrealized. And yet, you are still here. You are still pursuing. You are still reaching out with mercy and grace. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for interrupting their night with this message. Thank you for loving them enough to confront what has been stealing from them. Now, Lord, I ask that you would break the power of distraction over their life. Break the addiction. Break the habit. Break the neural pathways that have been formed through repetition. Rewire their mind to crave depth instead of distraction. Rewire their heart to pursue purpose instead of entertainment. Give them the discipline they need to establish boundaries. Give them the strength they need to say no to the things that are killing their calling. Give them the vision they need to stay focused when the temptation returns. Fill the space that distraction occupied with your presence. Let intimacy with you become more satisfying than any scroll. Let pursuit of purpose become more compelling than any content. Let the life you have called them to become so vivid and so urgent that distraction loses all its appeal. Restore what has been stolen. Redeem the years that have been wasted. Accelerate the progress that has been delayed. Let tonight be the turning point. Let tonight be the moment that everything changes. In Jesus' name. Receive that, let it penetrate deep, and then act. Do not let this moment pass without making a decision. The conviction you feel right now is a gift. It is God's kindness leading you to repentance. Do not waste it. Do not scroll to the next thing without responding to what you have heard. What is the one step you can take tonight to begin breaking the power of distraction in your life? Is it deleting an app? Is it setting a timer? Is it putting your phone in another room before bed? Is it committing to screen-free mornings until you have met with God? Whatever it is, do it now, before the feeling fades, before the old patterns reassert themselves, before the enemy convinces you that you can do it later. Do it now. And if this message woke something up in you, if you felt the Spirit speaking directly to your situation, type the words, "I am taking my focus back," as a declaration. Let it be a stake in the ground. Let it be a marker for this moment. Let it be the first step in a new direction. Guard what God is rebuilding in you. The enemy will try to steal back what you reclaim tonight. He will present new distractions. He will test your resolve. But greater is He who is in you. Stand firm, stay focused, and walk into the purpose that has been waiting for you all along.